Hello again. It's Miss E coming to continue to update you on my story and how I got started doing Miss E's Glory Loaves. So far, if you've been following along, I've told you what made me get started, how things came into play, how I made connection with my church that I attended, and how I began doing the bread itself, how it came up with the name, how I came about being in different locations around Northeast Ohio, and also how I began doing, how I came up with the variations in the packaging, right? So here we are. I am here to talk about how I got started shipping. Did you know I shipped? Yes, absolutely. I shipped to all around, I can't even say, well, I could say all 50 states. Yes, I could say that. Because, and it all started, well, there's probably a backstory to it, because I used to work at the post office. I was a casual mail handler and technically a casual clerk for a while too, because I got switched between the two departments at one point. But I worked there for 5 years, right? So within that, and having worked other places where I handled the mail and doing shipping and stuff like that, I had a good knowledge of how the postal system worked when it came to packaging and things of that sort. So being able to take that knowledge when it came to shipping my bread came in great handy. I still think it was all part of a setup that I wasn't aware of that was happening at the time, but here we are. So what brought it to be was one of my very dear and near and dear friends, Monica. I met her working at one of my jobs, actually around the time when the bread started, right? So during that time, so I had then left the organization we were working with, and a few years later, she ended up leaving. Well, when she left, she didn't just leave the job, she left the state. She moved to Atlanta, Georgia. So while she was there, she was like, ma'am, I need some bread down here. She wanted to, in part, be able to have the bread for herself, but also to share it with some of her co-workers and family members that while she was down there. So I was like, okay, fine. So I found what was to be the best shipping, which we come to know to be the priority mail boxes, which is the white box with the red and blue lettering on it. And so they have a couple different sizes. And I got the ones that would not only be best cost efficient, because I try to use the flat rate wherever possible, but in certain ones, for especially smaller orders, I use what's called the regional A boxes, right? And so you just order them from the post office. You can't always go pick them. You can get some of them from the store, from the local offices, but the one set of boxes, the regional A boxes, you actually have to go onto their website to order. But the good thing is, the boxes themselves are free. They pay you to ship it. So you can get the, the materials and stuff. So some people use their packaging, labels and stuff like that, but I use just to print them off from the printer that come from the site that I use. And the thing of it was to come with the most cost effective across the board, because I wanted to be simple. I didn't want to have to try to always figure out the weight variance based on what you order, because it could just vary. It's not a set rate on everything, because you can get a mix of stuff. You can get some mini loaves and some half loaves within your order, but the difference of it is we found out what would be the best method of shipping and the most cost effective on both sides. So I wasn't trying to figure out each every little piece, because I felt like that would be too complicated. So we found it to be the best simple flat rate shipping across the board based on the quantity that you will order. Okay, so that was that. So I found that it was easy enough to do that. So I was grateful. So that's what got it started. Monica wanted some loaves in Atlanta, and then later she ended up moving to California again. But by in between time, I had started shipping to different places because people started placing orders, and they wanted me to send them to other people, because as I began to meet other people, I also would travel to different places and mention the bread, or people would come across because of social media and wanted me to ship it to them. And so I did, because I even had a high school friend who ordered, because she took 1 year around Black History Month, she wanted to support her friends who had businesses. me being one of them. She put in an order, had a lot of people at the job put in an order, and actually did it a couple times, put the order in, and I shipped it down to them, and she was in Alabama. So, and then I had another classmate who lived in Texas. So as you can see, I make my way around all the different states. I have people in North Carolina, California, Florida, Michigan, throughout different, DC. One of my customers, I actually met her at a vending event, which I'll talk about in another video. We met at this one event, and what she started doing, now she bought bread for herself that day, right? But what she has done since then is that she will put in orders and have me ship them to other people. So her friends and family that are around different cities and states, actually, because not only Maryland, but Pennsylvania, some New York, I think Chicago, Georgia, you know, all the different places. She hadn't put together an order. I will put in a little note or something or a card because she wants to say something to the people. And sometimes she'll include something else in it, and then she'll select the loaves that she wants in there, and I'll ship it to them. You know, and there'll be a order for them, a gift, if you will. So it always works out. So hence why I also have found out I had to make some adjustments to one of my labels, because before I just had the return on my return labels. I said, you know, thank you for your order, right? But I did not consider initially, what if you didn't order but somebody ordered it for you, right? So I had somebody who put in an order for somebody as a gift. Well, for some reason, and it was very odd, where the lady said, I got a inbox on social media, and she was like, why did you send me this? And I didn't order anything from you. Why did you send me this? Now, keep in mind, regardless of what it says on front, if it's addressed to you, there's usually a card of some sort inside that says who it's actually from, so that you can call that person directly and say thank you. And now my contact information is in there as well, so in case they want to put an order in for themselves, so they'll know, you know, in the future they can share it and all the things. So I just thought that was very odd, but now here it was. She's asking me, and I'm like, cause she was talking about she was gonna call somebody like to report me, but I'm like, why would you report me for a gift? Like, that doesn't even make sense, right? And so, but she never came back, because I was like, and I said to her in the inbox, I said, did you check inside the box? Because it tells you who it's from. Because of course, in that moment, I don't have who it's from off the top. I don't, you know, keep all that information on the top of my head all the time. Sometimes every now and again, yes, but for the most part, no, because I didn't move on to the next thing. And so I was like, be sure that you check the box because it's on the card that's inside. Well, now, interestingly enough, she did not come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, thank you, this and that. She just went on, didn't say nothing else about it. I just thought that was such a strange thing. So what that made me do, though, was to have a label that said a gift of Loaves for you, so that you know when you get it from me, it's coming as a gift if you know you didn't order it. So if you pay attention to the label, it'll say, this is a gift of Loaves for you. And then, of course, inside, more times than not, especially upon instruction from the person who's ordering it, it'll say who it's from. Now, there are some people who just know who ordered it, because I have people who regularly shipped bread to other people, so they automatically know. So there's no question about it at all, which I can appreciate as well. So, because I've had people who would ship bread for like Mother's Day, or sometimes it's just because gifts, you know, it's like, I just want to treat the babies for something, or treat my family member or whatever to some bread, which again, I appreciate. So I make sure, because I have people who do for birthdays and things of that sort, every so often they'll put in an order. So just so you know, yes, I ship throughout the U.S. I have not tried to ship overseas, because I do believe there are some restrictions to shipping food across seas, and there's a whole lot of extra paperwork and stuff like that. I don't want to deal with that, and most other people don't either. It's not that deep. Usually when you come stateside, get your order and everybody's good. I've come across people I've met here in Ohio for one reason or another, and I will remind them, you want to get this order again or anything else, go online, place your order. I got you, right? Again, no judgment. What you do with it at the end of the day, not my for real business. I am glad to be able to supply it for you. Okay, so that's it on the shipping. I look forward to shipping more orders, especially as the holidays are approaching. I might run a special, not quite sure yet, but stay tuned, stay posted. If you're already on my email list, please be sure to do so. And all of my other contact information will be below this video. Thank you. Until next time.